I flirted with my ex behind my husband's back and even called marriage a prison, so he froze our accounts. And overnight, I watched my perfect life implode. My name is Millie. I'm 29, or I guess I should say I was a luxury real estate agent. Past tense. Everything in my life is past tense now. 6 weeks ago, I had what most people would call a perfect life. I was married to Philip, lived in a 4,500 square foot house in Westchester, drove a white Mercedes GLE, and spent my weekends at country clubs and wine tastings. I had a walk-in closet full of designer clothes, a jewelry box worth more than most people's cars, and a husband who never said no to anything I wanted. God, typing that out makes me want to punch myself in the face. See, the thing about Philip is that he's not what you'd expect from a successful aerospace engineer who owns a defense contracting firm. He's not flashy. He doesn't peacock around in Lamborghinis or flash Rolexes. He drives a 3-year-old Tesla Model S. He wears the same 5 suits to work. He reads technical manuals for fun and gets excited about spacecraft propulsion systems. When we'd go to parties, he'd rather discuss launch trajectories than vacation homes. I used to find it embarrassing. Here I was, selling 8-figure properties to celebrities and tech moguls, and my husband would show up to viewings in a polo shirt and khakis talking about orbital mechanics. My clients would politely smile while he explained how their infinity pool's filtration system could be optimized. I'd roll my eyes and mouth sorry behind his back. The texting with Bryce started innocently enough. He was my ex from before Philip, the guy I dated when I was 24 and thought cryptocurrency was going to make us both millionaires. Spoiler alert, it didn't. But Bryce had this way of making everything sound like an adventure. Where Philip was steady and methodical, Bryce was spontaneous and exciting. Where Philip planned our investments in index funds and municipal bonds, Bryce talked about quick flips and massive gains. It started with Instagram likes. Then comments. Then DMs. Then texts. "How's married life?" he asked one day. "Like living in a minimum security prison," I replied. 3 meals a day and yard time, but still a prison. That became our running joke. I'd send him pictures of the prison, my house, my car, my vacation photos from Santorini. He'd respond with sympathy about how boring it must be, how controlled, how predictable. And I ate it up like the fing idiot I was. The texts got worse over time. I complained about everything. How Philip wanted me to stick to a budget, imagine that, a budget when he made 7 figures. How he'd question my spending when I'd drop $3,000 at Nordstrom. How he'd suggest I contribute to our joint savings instead of buying another Chanel bag. How he was always working, always focused on his company, always talking about building generational wealth instead of just enjoying what we had. He tracks everything, I texted Bryce once. Every receipt, every expense. Says it's for taxes, but I know he's just controlling. "You deserve someone who appreciates you," Bryce would reply. "Someone who sees your value." The photos started 3 months ago. Just flirty at first, me in a new dress, asking if it looked good. Then more. Then explicit. I'd send them while Philip was in his home office, working on contracts worth millions while I was sexting my ex 10 feet away. I got careless. No, that's not right. I got arrogant. I thought Philip was too absorbed in his work to notice. Too trusting. Too boring to suspect his wife was basically having an emotional affair while he paid for everything. 5 weeks ago, on a Thursday night, I left my phone on the kitchen counter while I went to pour another glass of wine. It buzzed with a text from Bryce, "Can't wait to see you in that lingerie in person." Philip was getting water. He saw it. He didn't say anything that night. Or the next morning. Or that weekend. I thought I'd gotten away with it, that maybe he hadn't seen it after all. But looking back, there were signs. He was quieter than usual. He spent more time in his office. He had mysterious phone calls with someone named Richardson who I later learned was his lawyer. The hammer dropped on a Tuesday. I was at the Audi dealership, about to lease a Q8 as my summer car, when my credit card declined. Then another. Then another. I called the bank, furious and embarrassed, only to be told that Mr. Philip Thornton, the primary account holder, had frozen all joint accounts pending review. I drove home in my Mercedes, thank God he couldn't remote repo it, ready to rage. But Philip wasn't there. Instead, there was a manila envelope on the kitchen island with my name on it. Divorce papers. And printed screenshots of every text, every photo, every complaint I'd sent to Bryce over the last 6 months. There was a post-it note on top in Philip's precise handwriting. "Your personal belongings will be packed and delivered to your mother's address by Friday. The Mercedes lease ends next month. I've paid it through then as a courtesy. Your final paycheck from Thornton Realty Holdings, yes, I own that too, will include accumulated PTO and severance per state requirements. My lawyer will be in touch. I called him 47 times that day. He didn't answer once. Update 1, 3 days after the papers. Thank you to everyone who messaged me after my last post. Yes, even those of you who called me every name in the book. I deserved it. A lot has happened in the last 3 days, and none of it good. First, let me address something many of you pointed out. Yes, I was employed by a subsidiary of Philip's company. I didn't mention it initially because I was still processing everything, but Thornton Realty Holdings is the property management arm of his business. He acquired it 3 years ago to manage the commercial properties his main company owns. He gave me a position there as senior luxury property consultant. Basically, I showed high-end residential properties to executives and international clients connected to his aerospace business. The salary was $95,000 plus commission. I thought I was hot SHT, bringing in my own money. What I didn't realize until I got my termination paperwork was that my total sales last year generated about $127,000 in commission. On properties that were worth a combined $47 million. Phillips Aerospace Company's annual revenue? $230 million. I was playing with pennies while thinking I was a high roller. But here's where it gets worse. Remember those budgets I complained about? Those controlling financial rules? I found out the real numbers when my lawyer, hired with the last $5,000 in my personal checking account, got the financial disclosures. Philip had automatically allocated $8,000 per month to my personal spending account. Not for groceries or utilities or household expenses, those came from other accounts. Just for me. Shopping, lunches, spa treatments, whatever. $96,000 a year in fun money, and I complained it wasn't enough. Our joint savings that I never contributed to? $1.4 million. The investment portfolio he managed? $3.2 million. The retirement accounts? Another $2.8 million. I had access to everything. My name was on most of it. He'd set us up for life, and I called it a prison. I tried reaching out to Bryce, figuring if I was burning my life down, at least I'd have him. Want to know what that idiot said when I told him I was getting divorced and needed support? Oh SHT, that's rough. Hey, I'm actually seeing someone now, so we should probably stop talking. Good luck though. 3 months of texts, photos, emotional affair BS, and he dropped me in less than 30 seconds when he realized I wasn't going to be his sugar mama. Turns out he thought I was the breadwinner. He saw the house, the car, the lifestyle, and assumed it was my money. When I told him I was moving back with my mother, he literally hung up mid-sentence. My best friend Sienna, who owns a boutique I used to shop at constantly. Haven't heard from her since word got out. The country club friends? They've already unfriended me on social media. My mother keeps asking what I did to mess up such a good thing, and I can't even blame her. But the worst part, the absolute worst part, was yesterday. I went to the house to get more of my things. Philip's lawyer arranged a 2-hour window while he was at work. I walked through rooms I'd spent 3 years complaining about. The kitchen he'd renovated exactly to my specifications. The closet he'd had custom built for my clothes. The home office he'd set up for me that I never used because I preferred working from coffee shops. On his desk in his office, the one room I never went into because it was too boring, I saw something that broke me. A printed email confirmation from 2 months ago. A reservation for a surprise anniversary trip to Bora Bora. First-class flights, overwater bungalow, private chef, the works. The dates? Next week. What would have been our 5th anniversary. He'd been planning it while I was sending another man pictures of myself in lingerie he'd bought me. I sat on the floor of his office and cried until the lawyer's assistant told me my time was up. Update 2, 1 week since discovery. The job search is not going well. Turns out when you're terminated from a company for violation of corporate ethics policy, other firms in the same industry tend to notice. Especially when that company is owned by one of the most respected defense contractors on the East Coast. I've applied to 17 real estate firms. Got 3 callbacks. All 3 interviews ended the moment they called my references. I don't know what Philip told them. He's too professional to badmouth me directly, but whatever he said was enough. My mother is not handling this well. She keeps alternating between fury at me for ruining my marriage and trying to convince me to beg Philip to take me back. You had one job, she said yesterday while I was eating cereal at 2 p.m. in my pajamas. One job. Keep that man happy. He gave you everything. He was boring, Mom. He never wanted to do anything fun. She laughed. Actually laughed in my face. Boring? That boring man paid for your entire life. You think Bryce would have given you that house? That car? That life? Bryce was exciting. He made me feel alive. Bryce is a crypto bro who lives in a studio apartment and drives a leased BMW 3 Series. I looked him up on LinkedIn. His last 3 ventures all failed. You felt alive? Well, now you're alive and broke. Congratulations. She's right. God, I hate that she's right. My lawyer called yesterday with Philip's settlement offer. It's fair. More than fair, actually. Spousal support for 2 years at $4,000 per month. That's it. No property, no investments, no savings. Just alimony that'll barely cover a decent apartment and basic expenses. You could fight for more, my lawyer said, not sounding convinced. But honestly? With the evidence he has of infidelity and the fact that most assets were his before marriage or earned through his company. This is probably the best you'll get. What evidence? He has everything documented. Every text, every photo, recordings of you calling him controlling and boring to your friends. He has credit card statements showing you spent $340,000 last year on personal purchases while contributing nothing to the household. He even has a recording of you telling someone at a party that you were just waiting for the right time to leave. I was drunk. I didn't mean it. Doesn't matter. Take the deal, Millie. The most humiliating part? I ran into Philip's assistant, Priya, at the grocery store. She was buying ingredients for some elaborate dinner party. She saw me with my basket of ramen and frozen dinners and just pitied me. I could see it in her eyes. Mr. Thornton mentioned you're going through a transition, she said carefully. I hope things work out for you. Then she mentioned, oh so casually, that Philip had just landed a $500 million contract with the Department of Defense. The biggest deal in his company's history. He'd been working on it for 2 years, all those boring nights when he was in his office, all those times I complained he cared more about work than me. $500 million. And I'm buying generic cereal with coupons. Update 3, 2 weeks after everything fell apart. I did something stupid yesterday. Actually, I've done a lot of stupid things, but this one was particularly pathetic. I drove to Philip's office. I told myself I just wanted to talk, to apologize properly, to maybe understand how we got here. But really? I wanted him to see me suffering. I wanted him to feel something, pity, satisfaction, anything that showed I still affected him somehow. His building is one of those gleaming glass towers downtown. I used to love telling people my husband owned the top 3 floors. Now the security guard wouldn't even let me in the lobby. I'm sorry, ma'am. You're on the no access list. The no access list. Like I'm some kind of security threat. I waited outside for 3 hours. 3 hours in my mom's 2015 Honda Civic, the Mercedes got repoed last week, watching successful people stream in and out of the building I used to walk into like I owned it. Finally, at 6:47 p.m., Philip emerged. He looked good. Really good. He'd gotten a better haircut, was wearing a new suit I didn't recognize, and was walking with this quiet confidence I'd never noticed before. Or maybe I had noticed and just dismissed it as boring. He saw me immediately. Of course he did. Philip notices everything. It's part of what makes him so good at his job. He notices tiny flaws in aerospace designs that could cause catastrophic failures. He sure as HL noticed his wife unraveling his marriage. He walked over, hands in his pockets, and stood a careful distance away. Professional. Controlled. Cold. Millie. Philip, can we talk? Our lawyers are handling everything. There's nothing to discuss. Please. Just 5 minutes. I need to. What? Apologize? Explain? Ask for more money? His voice was so calm it hurt. Which one is it today? I wanted to say I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not just sorry I got caught, but sorry for everything. For taking you for granted. For disrespecting you. For betraying you. He looked at me for a long moment. Those brown eyes I used to call boring were sharp as surgical instruments. I appreciate that, he said finally. But it doesn't change anything. I know I fed up. No, Millie. You didn't just F up. You made calculated choices every single day for months. Years, actually. Every time you called me boring to your friends, every time you complained about having to stick to a budget while spending $300,000 a year on clothes, every time you sent him pictures in lingerie I bought you, those were all choices. I was unhappy. Then you should have left. Cleanly. Honestly. Instead, you kept one foot in my life for the security while shopping for an upgrade. Except there was no upgrade, was there? Just a guy who told you what you wanted to hear while I was busy building us a future you couldn't be bothered to appreciate. A woman emerged from the building then, tall, elegant, wearing a simple black dress that probably cost more than my entire current wardrobe. She was holding a portfolio and had the kind of natural confidence that comes from actual accomplishment. Ready for dinner? She asked Philip, then noticed me. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. It's fine. Dr. Reeves, this is Millie. Millie, Dr. Reeves is consulting on our new satellite navigation system. A doctor. Of course. Probably a PhD in something I couldn't even pronounce. Nice to meet you, she said politely, then looked at Philip. I'll wait in the car? I'll just be a moment. After she walked away, Philip turned back to me. Is there anything else? Are you dating her? We're having a working dinner to discuss the project. But if I were dating her, or anyone else, it wouldn't be your concern anymore. The words hit like physical blows. He was right. I had no claim on him anymore. No right to jealousy or concern or even curiosity. I loved you, I said, desperate for something, anything to crack that composure. No, he said simply. You loved what I provided. There's a difference. I loved you, Millie. Deeply. I would have given you anything, and I nearly did. But it was never enough because what you wanted wasn't really things or money or adventure. You wanted to feel superior while someone else paid for it. And when you found someone who made you feel that way, you didn't hesitate to betray me. He checked his watch, a simple Omega, not flashy, just precise. So very Philip. I need to go. Please don't come here again. If you need anything regarding the divorce, contact my lawyer. He walked away then, got into his Tesla where Dr. Reeves was waiting, and drove off. No dramatic exit, no squealing tires. Just gone, leaving me standing on the sidewalk like the ghost of someone who used to matter. Update 4, 1 month after my life imploded. This will be my final update. I've accepted a job, not in real estate, not in anything glamorous. I'm working as an administrative assistant at a medical supply company. $42,000 a year. I make less than I used to spend on handbags. The divorce was finalized yesterday. Philip didn't show up, his lawyer handled everything. Clean, efficient, done. 5 years of marriage dissolved in 15 minutes. The judge looked bored. I'm living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Yonkers. It's clean, safe, and costs $1,800 a month. After the alimony, I have about $2,400 left for everything else. I've learned to budget. Funny how that controlling thing Philip did suddenly makes sense when you're choosing between groceries and gas. I saw him one last time, at our mutual friend Donna's wedding last weekend. I wasn't going to go, but Donna insisted. She's one of the few people who still talks to me, though I can tell she pities me more than likes me now. Philip was there, in the same navy suit he's had for 3 years, looking comfortable and relaxed. He was alone, no Dr. Reeves or anyone else. Just him, chatting with other guests about his company's new satellite project, genuinely excited about orbit trajectories or whatever the F. During the reception, I worked up the courage to approach him one more time. The house looks different, I said. Donna had mentioned he'd renovated. I converted your closet into a library, he said simply. And your office is now a home gym. Erased. Like I'd never been there. That's good. You always wanted a library. I did. We stood there awkwardly, watching other couples dance. Happy couples. Couples who hadn't thrown everything away for nothing. Can I ask you something? I said. He nodded. When did you stop loving me? He was quiet for a long moment, then, Tuesday, March 15th, at 2:47 a.m. The specificity stunned me. How do you remember that exactly? Because that's when I found the texts. I couldn't sleep, went to get water, saw your phone charging on the counter. A message preview popped up from Bryce, something about missing what you two had. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. I read everything. Every complaint, every insult, every time you called me boring or controlling or said you felt trapped. And the pictures. The pictures were just the final confirmation. But you didn't say anything for 2 weeks. I needed to be sure about what I wanted to do. And I needed to protect myself. You taught me something, Millie. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. You showed me who you were. I just had to accept it. Who was I? Someone who confused being given everything with being owed everything. The DJ started playing a slow song, ironically, our wedding song. Philip glanced at the dance floor, then back at me. I should go. Early flight tomorrow, meeting with NASA about a contract. NASA? Of course. He was reaching for the stars while I'd been playing in the mud with Bryce. Philip? I called as he turned to leave. He paused. I know it doesn't matter now, but you weren't boring. You were. Steady. Reliable. Safe. I just didn't know how valuable that was until it was gone. No, he said, not unkindly. You didn't know how valuable it was until you couldn't exploit it anymore. There's a difference. And then he left. No backward glance, no hesitation. Just walked out of the reception and out of my life for good. I'm sharing this story because I need someone, anyone, to understand that I get it now. I had everything, a husband who loved me, financial security, a beautiful life, and I torched it all because I was bored. Because I wanted excitement. Because I thought I deserved more, better, different. Bryce? He's already engaged to someone else. Found out through Instagram. She's 23 and her father owns a hedge fund. Philip? According to Donna, he just signed a contract that will set him up for life. He's also started dating, not Dr. Reeves, but someone else. Donna won't tell me who, says it's not her story to share. But she did say he seems happy. Really happy. The kind of happy he never was with me, even in the beginning. And me? I'm learning to live with myself. With the choices I made. With the bridge I didn't just burn but napalmed. My therapist says I need to forgive myself, to move forward. But how do you forgive yourself for throwing away the best thing that ever happened to you? How do you move forward when you know you'll never have that kind of security, that kind of love, that kind of life again? You don't. You just exist. You go to your $42,000 job, you eat your sensibly budgeted meals, you lie in your IKEA bed in your Yonkers apartment, and you remember when you had everything. The worst part? The absolute worst thing part? Philip was never the prison warden. He was the architect who built me a castle. I was the one who locked myself in and then burned it down from the inside. Don't be me. If you have a good partner, even if they're quiet, even if they're more interested in their work than parties, even if they want to budget and plan and save, appreciate them. Don't go looking for excitement in texts from exes. Don't mistake stability for boredom. Don't confuse being provided for with being controlled. Because once you lose it, once you're on the outside looking in at the life you threw away, you'll understand that the prison was never the marriage. The prison is living with what you've done. Final edit. To everyone asking, no, there's no chance of reconciliation. I've accepted that. Philip is not the kind of man who gives second chances, and I'm not the kind of woman who deserves one. Someone messaged me saying this reads like a cautionary tale or moral story. You know what? It is. It's the story of a woman who had everything and threw it away for nothing. It's the story of consequences. It's the story of learning too late that the grass isn't greener, it's astroturf painted to look real. I'm turning off notifications now. Going to try to move on, whatever that looks like. Thank you to everyone who listened, even those who judged. Especially those who judged. You were right. Philip, if you ever see this, you were the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm sorry I couldn't be the same for you. Millie. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.